friends, and welcome to Saturday evening's posted mostly weekly broken news with your host, Trevor Stewart.
Well, thank you, Nick.
You're welcome.
How's everybody doing out there this evening? Hello. Welcome back to Weekly Broken News with me, your host, Trevor Stewart. And apparently, we are getting an echo. Did that take care of the echo? All right. Well, hello, friends. Welcome back to Saturday Evenings Posted Mostly presents Weekly Broken News with me, your host, Trevor Stewart. And I'd like to remind you that this is not a news show, and this is not a news show, and I am not a journalist. All the views expressed herein are 100% correct and verifiable as opinions. Now, let us begin this evening with a personal message to Dylan Quattrucci. Keep my name out of this. I had nothing to do with you getting kicked out. I don't know who you are. I wasn't even there. I don't care if you do have a blue check mark. I have nothing to do with you, sir. You know, upon seeing the video, my first thought is, why is he calling for Trevor Noah? Dude's wearing a red MAGA hat. Ain't nobody named Trevor coming to his rescue. And moving right along to something something in the labor field. Sean Fain of the United Auto Workers called Trump a scab. But what you don't hear is the rest of the sentence that went through Sean's head. What was that? A scab on what? Ew. But descriptive of Trump. Also, DeSantis takes a hike, drops out of presidential race in silent bid for vice presidency. But what I really want to take a moment to think about here are the bright, hot pink Starbucks Stanley crossover cups that are the new Cabbage Patch dolls and Beanie Babies wrapped up as rolled steel and hot Barbie pink rubberized coating and causing retail riots. Luckily, though, they're all sold out. Unfortunately, they are retailing on the resale market for upwards of $200. But man, they go nice with my boots. I'm moving right along to some actual headlines. First up from MSN.com. Here's why Norway hasn't had trouble with winter EV charging. Best quote from the whole article here. Quote, so, do your homework before going out in the freezing cold, charge at home, precondition the battery before fast charging, and even read the manual. Crazy thought, right? If you have to. And remember, people riding around in horse-drawn carriages used to laugh at motorists in the early days when gasoline had to be bought from the pharmacy in glass jars. moving right along to something from LGBTQ Nation. Transphobic legislator introduces bill to force kids to work full-time on farms. Child labor good, child transition bad. The article bounces back and forth between talking about the Indiana version of Florida's Don't Say Gay law and its support by Representative Joanna King and House Bill 1062. The bill, introduced by Representative King, would allow minors as young as 14 to drop out of middle school and begin working 40 hours a week year-round during school hours. Yeah, but in my day, we had to trudge uphill in snow in the sweltering heat both directions. The law would allow these children to work on family and corporate-owned farms. Now, if this sounds familiar, well, in March of 2023, Governor McMabee of Arkansas signed into law a bill that removed the requirement for children under the age of 16 to have a work certificate. You know, that thing that helped protect them from being exploited for child labor. If Joanna rhymes with guana, and guana's gonna fall from the trees in Florida when it gets cold. Which leads into my next point. Florida has issued its annual cold weather warning to watch for falling iguanas. When it gets below freezing, the iguanas fall from the trees in Florida. Now, the real danger is when you pick them up and put them in your car to bring home for dinner, they may thaw and attack you. So be aware of thawing iguanas. And moving right along to something from the HuffPost on MSN.com. New GOP mom in Congress wants family separation for migrants, but not for new moms in Congress. The article states, quote, on Tuesday, freshman Representative Anna Paulina Luna, almost called her Anna Karenina Luna. This is a completely different story. On Tuesday, freshman Representative Anna Paulina Luna, Republican of Florida, introduced a bill allowing House members to cast votes on behalf of new mothers unable to attend Congress in person, giving the mothers time to recover and be with their neighbors, with their newborns, not with their neighbors, with their newborns without the hassle of traveling to Washington for work. On Wednesday, in a tense exchange with a witness at a committee hearing, Luna said she wanted migrants claiming asylum at the U.S. border to be at least temporarily separated from any children who accompany them until we can confirm if they are actual biological parents. Luna doubled down later in the day on her comment, saying in a video posted on social media she did not make apologies for endorsing the family separation policy, even though it triggered lots of people. She quoted, "I'm sorry that we're breaking through your programming, but the fact is, family separation and biological confirmation saves lives." At a press conference Thursday, Luna didn't answer directly when asked if she saw any contradiction in her stances, unquote. Now, supposedly, the reasoning given by Luna for the separation of children and parents is to make sure no one is being trafficked, which is a possibility in the most quantum sense of the term. But if everyone is being detained while this check is being performed, probably via some sort of blood test, and everyone is under observation while being detained for this check to be performed, probably via some sort of blood test. Why do the children need to be separated if they're all being detained under observation while awaiting a test, probably a blood test? And moving right along to something from AP News. An Ohio official was arrested for speaking at her own meeting. Her rights were violated, judge says. Now this one is a case of the established... Uh-oh, I'm stumbling now. I don't know if I can make it through the tongue twister later. This is a case of the established regressive conservatives eating their own tail. The lone Republican on the Trumbull County Board of Commissioners was detained for obstructive language against the local sheriff's office. It's not so cute when it happens to you now, is it? Oops, ma'am, I didn't realize y'all was white. And moving along before I get myself in more trouble, to something from the HuffPost. CNN's Caitlin Collins shows Bob Good his past Trump remarks. To quote the article quoting her, "So you didn't say those things that you're on camera saying?" Unquote. Moving on to something from the Messenger, Marjorie Taylor Greene backs primary chancellor to vote GOP Virginia congressman. Disloyal MAGA traitor? Quote, Greene is highly critical of the GOP representative Bob Good, who's no good, who chairs House Freedom Caucus, which kicked her out last summer. Lockpick chimes in with, "I loved watching MTG crying about nobody buying her book." Kat points out that we're good calling her margarine. Let's take a moment to read chat and say hi to everybody. Hello, Kat, of course. Hello, Lockpick. Hello, Who's That Girl? Good to see y'all here. Lockpick says, "I can't believe she's not butter." I'd like to say that that's a skill issue. Thank you, Lockpick, for catching us live. We're excited to have you here. I have no doubt that you're going to say some stuff that is going to crack me up. You already did. This is the fun of recording live. Okay, now trying to keep a straight face and moving on to our next segment, which is an old favorite here, escaped animals, or Ark on the Lam. From Natural Bridge Zoo Update. Well, our Natural Bridge Zoo Update. Zoo in heavy quotes. In a series of articles from WDBJ7 Eyeball, one of those alphabetical TV stations, investigators reveal Natural Bridge Zoo animals' conditions in District Court hearing. Virginia arrests case in Natural Bridge Zoo animal seizure hearing. They seized the animals, although, given the state of the zoo, I wouldn't be surprised if the animals were having seizures. In a horrifying quote from the article, the state noted it's not against violation to keep dead animals in a freezer. However, food was kept in this freezer. It's a regulation to keep dead animals and food separate, unquote. We don't feel the need to share further details except to say that the prosecution has a pretty frozen solid case. The defense does seem to be optimistic, but as the article notes, there is still no evidence of where Asha the elephant is. Unquote. That is not a good sentence, no matter what the follow-up. It probably won't be good, kinda like Bob isn't good. Thank you for the crickets for that one. It deserves that. Natural Bridge Zoo owner's daughter testifies. Defense witness emphasizes animal well-being. And last of all from WDBJ7. How many times did I just say BJ in a row? And I missed it. Court rules in Natural Bridge Zoo case. Some animals are to be returned. For those interested in reading it, the article has a link to the decision in its entirety. For everyone else, the main part reads, quote, "Except as stated below, the court finds with respect to all impounded animals that the county has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the animals were subject to cruelty or inappropriate care within the meaning of Section 3.2-6569 69 of the Code of Virginia. The exceptions are 39 animals that the zoo will be getting back as their individual quality of life could not be proved. It is expected that the zoo will appeal this decision and potential of having to reimburse the county the cost of boarding seized animals in the near future. No word yet if Global Animal Freedom Front plans any action. But I have a feeling we may hear from the St. Louis Bear in Texas on this one. Kat points out that it has been their call sign for years. A lot of people have had a similar reaction. And Lockpick says, nice code. Moving on to something that is actually funny. From NBC Philadelphia. And that's the one with the bird. A big change? PETA looks to replace Pennsylvania's prognosticating groundhog with enormous coin. In past years, the infamous group has suggested replacing the legendary Punxsutawney Phil with a persimmon tree, a willing human analog, and an animatronic AI-powered doppelganger. I don't want cyborg groundhogs. That's how you get cyborg groundhogs, and I don't want cyborg groundhogs. This year, they have offered a giant coin to stand in for the burrowing bard. stating that the coin would be just about as accurate as Phil. The Punxsutawney Groundhog Club has not commented on this suggestion as of yet. Prospecting psychic plans on prognosticating precipitation probabilities. Puckers. Prospecting psychic plans on prognosticating precipitation probabilities despite PETA's peaked projection, puckered posture, and prissy philosophy. Got there. Almost lost it on puckers. Cat says nope, the one in Caddyshack was enough. Lockpick says, we don't need groundhogs beginning the hunt for Sarah Connor. Ah! They could take out the whole human underground. Moving along to segment 3, some more human news. Two related stories from WTVR News 6. From January 19th, male frustration mount. That's male as in post, not, deedle-deedle-deet. Ha-ha! Male frustration mounts for some Virginia business owners. To quote the article, and what's in my own heart, I think the post office is a necessary evil, the owner of Palmore's Decorating Center said. Quote, it is consistently inconsistent, unquote. Senator Kaine is also confusingly quoted in the article. Quote, we're not settling. We're not accepting the denial at face value. USPS can participate willing, or we can have ways of making them regret that they haven't and still participate. Sir, that was terrible wording. No, Kane can't has cheeseburger. But this does lead into the January 22nd article. She says post office problems are costing her business. Something's not right. Quote, when CBS 6 put out a call to viewers to voice their mail concerns, that is, post, not, deedle-deedle-eat, ha-ha! More than a dozen people responded and shared similar stories about mail being weeks or even months late. One viewer shared that she'd had money stolen out of cards. When she reopened it, when she reported it, the Inspector General of the USPS... Just read the words that are there. Lockpick says, and now I'm going to have to restart the article because this just got me all derailed. Lockpick says, my Viagra got lost in the mail. It's a double whammy of a mail problem. Quote, when CBS 6 put out a call to viewers to voice their mail concerns, more than a... Dang it. He cracked me up on stream. Live broadcasts. This is why I love them. Okay. Where were we? Quote, when CBS 6 put out a call to viewers to voice their mail concerns, more than a dozen people responded and shared similar stories about mail being weeks or even months late. One viewer shared that she'd had money stolen out of cards when she reported it to the Inspector General of the USPS, she received no response. A representative from the Postal Service's Virginia district told CBS 6 it would not host a town hall to hear concerns, despite multiple requests from lawmakers, including Senator Mark Warner, another Democrat in Virginia. Quote, it is not acceptable for the Postal Service to say they are not going to do a town hall. I know there's an Inspector General investigation, some other issues going on, but my constituents deserve to hear from the Postal Service, Warner says. Slightly less confusingly. And now we have some fashion-related articles, starting with this one from the BBC. SEPm Norfolk LV bespoke gears grinding. SEPm Norfolk LV bespoke wins trademark row with Louis Vuitton. You know how to say that, Trevor. Louis Vuitton. SEPm Norfolk LV bespoke wins trademark row with Louis Vuitton. A very long 2-year fight over trademarks and supposed confusing branding comes to an end, and this time in favor of the local businesses. Quote, the tribunal rejected the claim as the firms were in separable areas. LV Bespoke was awarded £4,000, 2 tons, in compensation after spending £15,000, 7.5 tons, in legal fees to battle the dispute. Victoria Osborne, co-founder of LV Bespoke, gave this quote to the BBC. Common sense has prevailed given the difference in size between the two businesses. It is such a relief. Is LV Bespoke still out 5.5 tons? Did winning just cost them 5.5 tons? I mean, I know I'm bad at math, but that's just, like, bad business. Moving on to something from NBC News. Lululemon founder remarks how... Lululemon founder's remarks have some DEI experts calling for boycotts to combat regressive values. We don't need to repeat the remarks that were made. They were enough to have the company state again that the founder is no longer a part of the company. But we do have a telling quote from DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, expert Tiffany Branderth. Quote, on a consumer level, though, Wilson's remarks should serve as a tipping point for a boycott. And not one that just fades into being forgotten. Boycotting should be applied to any company affiliated with regressive values. The combining the combined purchasing power of diverse groups is massive, so the boycott doesn't need to be loud. The economic choices of consumers send a silent yet powerful message on its own. The most impactful way to affect change is by making consequences felt, which is directly through impacting those individuals' financial gain. Unquote. Dang, that was both shade and a burn. When the shade is so, like sandpaper abrasive, that it's also a burn. That's a shade burn. That's what that was. That was a shade burn. Ouch. And in happier news from Just Style, Washington joins California, New York with fashion regulation bill. In poorly worded headline. Well, hopefully this is happier news anyway. Don't worry, they aren't banning bunny slippers with golf slacks. The goal of this bill is to hold the fast fashion industry accountable not only for the supply chain issues that happen due to creating items with limited usefulness, but also to make them responsible for the pollution and other environmental effects that their products create. We can always hope. And that brings us to our commercial break. Time for our sip of coffee and sip of water. And to thank everybody who's here, lurking and chatting. Thank you all for joining us. Lockpick says, got my hot coffee steaming away beside me. Now is the time in the show when we bring you a word from our advertisers. And this week's word is bolo de chocolate, which is Portuguese for chocolate cake. Today is both National Chocolate Cake Day and International Port Wine Day. Tomorrow should be International Gout Day. Now, we would like to thank our associate producer, Kat, for all that she does here, including all of the wonderful jokes she writes with us, and all of the work she does in putting together, culling the stories, putting together the scripts. You know, this would not be doable without her. Also, as our mod extraordinaire, thank you, Kat. And also, you know, thank you for the noble work that you do outside of this. Molding young minds. We would also like to thank our correspondents. Who's that girl? It's Jess, our UK correspondent, and Rabinova, our Canada correspondent. Both of whom are streamers here on Twitch, or over there on Twitch if you're watching this on YouTube. We also would like to shout out, we would like to, this has changed in the script. we would like to thank our Discord manager, Marina Ion at Human Tech Art, who we are delighted to be working with again. And we will be opening up the Discord server to the public, hopefully sometime in the next week or so, and start sending out invites. We have a few more things to get through. I believe we're gonna try and put up roles this week, as well as a few other things. But that's in the very near future. We already have some great emotes that she's gotten for us. So thank you very much, Marina Ion, for all your help. You're helping us expand. And that, well, we hope to grow on the populace, much like a fungus. And now we would like to thank our channel friends who have merch pages that we are aware of. We will be working to update this and get more merch pages in here as well. But for now, Who's That Girl over on Stream Elements at merch.streamelements.com/Who's That Girl, where you can get Dante's Muggins stickers and mugs. And Dassen __ over at store.streamelements.com/Dassen __ where you could get one of these fine R&R mugs, or many other pieces of merch, including a bucket hat that has chum written on it. Gotta remember, it's a little backwards for everybody. Yes, she has a chum bucket hat over there. And of course, our friend Akika Calde, who Nick is forever sporting the Bad Times Do Get Better t-shirt from the Akika Calde store, over on streamlabs.com/AkikaCalde/merch. We are working on some new merch ideas, including, I hope I'm not saying this out of turn, but People Meat. There's a People Meat line of merch upcoming from Akika Calde, and that is going to be a lot of fun. Now, while we are plugging our friends with merch, let us not forget the inimitable Jeffy Millimeter, who has moved his merch to his activewear brand Emerald. Quote, 100% the motto is, see into the future, unquote. Over at emeraldbrandproject.com. We are still waiting on our Emerald merch to show up here. Again, I worry that this is due to a misunderstanding with the USPS, or a mail problem. Delete. Ha ha! Now, we would also... Lockpick can crack me up with just an emote. Oh, man. See, when I tune into Lockpick, when I... Like, on the Sunday No Pants Raid Train, I can be guaranteed I'm not gonna be doing anything if I'm actually listening to his set, because I'm gonna be laughing too hard. So sometimes I have to, like, lurk through his set just so I can get all my Sunday chores done. It is, Now, not only is Lockpick incredibly funny, but also an awesome DJ. And where they really shine is with the drum and bass. When you can catch Lockpick not on Sunday, that's when you get some really, really fire drum and bass. It is. Lockpick says about the Sunday No Pants Raid Train, we do get a little wild sometimes. Hee 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 hee. So now let's move on to shouting out some dear friends here on Twitch. D Angela, D for E's, Angela, Send Noodles, Moosies, Busy Bell, Metamorpheus. You know, as much as I watch Metamorpheus, you'd think I could get their name right. Sleepy Scrubs, Evie something, Kiwi 007, that is Kiewi 007. Shaken, not stirred. Bex Bexy, Baby Groot 95, Ghoulish Cutie, DJ Lockpick, and the entire No Pants Sunday Raid Train. As well as Retro Future Now, who I've just been hanging out in his streams, just kicking it almost every day. Just great, great music, great, great atmosphere. Lockpick says Retro is a heck of a guy. Sorry to edit you, Lockpick. You're allowed to use whatever language you like there. Lockpick says, edit away, brother. Thank you, thank you. Oh, that bit of the copy is from last week when you and Retro would have been playing D&D, but I think everybody had a wild night the night before. Yeah. So moving along to DJ Loomy242, who I also lurk in just about every day because I always need some dark rave music. Dark electronic. Oh, it's great for the little graver inside of me. Gothic graver. DJ Jadzia Dax, who is always high energy whenever she's spinning. It's a party. And finishing it up with our friend, the amazing Wasabi, who is streaming right now. And I'm not lurking in her stream, but I'm sure I will be lurking in her stream later on today. Now, let's move on to the YouTube friends we'd like to shout out. The talented music producers Pan's Delight and Paula Haunt, who Paula just recently dropped a new track that was really fun. Very, very funky vibe with harmonica. We'd also like to shout out our friend Alex INTP, a visual artist and a writer under the moniker Mango Pudding over on Wattpad. I would describe her as a very, very whimsical digital artist. And I would describe her as a very good person. A genuine and fine person. Decent. One of the good ones. Shout out to you. Hope you're doing all right, Alex. And Lucy 2001, who is a very talented young actress from off the coast of Scotland. And we always enjoy catching her shorts when they go up. And this week, a very special shout out to John Lewis, spelled JAWNLUIS, a video essayist and dropper of truth and knowledge bombs with a brilliant style and sly sense of humor. I'm very sorry that we don't have a promotional budget to be a sponsor for your channel yet. But when we get there... So go check out John Lewis over on YouTube. And finally, we would like to thank our dear friends off the platforms, on other platforms. Our wonderful and lifelong friend O'Shea of O'Shea's Beautiful Things. Go check out some of O'Shea's beautiful things over at o'sheasbeautifulthings.com. And I haven't seen O'Shea recently, even though she moved back to the area. Schedules are hectic. I'm sure that we will get together soon. All my love, O'Shea. We would also like to shout out North Yorkshire's own Jennifer Weston, artist extraordinary, and dear friend from my childhood, another lifelong friend. And our associate producer wishes to give a shout out to @FritzFishing on TikTok. Good luck working on the knot problem with the leader lines. I would have written a pun for this, but I was tied up. Ow. All right. Cat, Lockpick gave me a rim shot on that one, by the way. Rim shot. Shot. Know what most of you were thinking. Cat says, I missed his live stream last night due to dinner, but he may have the problem fixed. Oh, the not problem with the leader lines. Hi, Deadpan. He's untangled himself from the situation. I still haven't figured how Mitch is supposed to say hello. I feel like Mitch Igan would be the kind of guy who says, "Hey ho there." Something, something just sort of, but he's not a high diddly ho kind of guy. But I don't think hey ho is quite right. So I'm open to suggestions for how Mitch Igan from northern Minnesota says hello. From the Midwest to our great northern neighbor to the North Canada, I'm Mitch Igan, and this is What's Up North, eh? From WCPO News, someone filled in the viral Chicago rat hole, but Chimley prevailed. This is, admittedly, a cute story. And I just got derailed. Hello, Shinde20. Good to see you here and have you with us. Let me take that from the top. I was stuck somewhere in the wording of viral Chicago rat hole. I think that was a Cramps cover band that I used to go see. Someone filled in the viral Chicago rat hole, but Chimley prevailed. This is admittedly a cute story. For the last few weeks, the 2-decade at least rat-shaped pothole located in Roscoe Village has gained lots of attention. Residents of the neighborhood have shared their joy over watching others discover the uniqueness of the area. Visitors have left varied and numerous tokens and offerings, and several have taken to calling the hole Lil Stucky or Chimney. What cute little names. However, not everyone seems to be as taken with the rat hole. An unknown persons filled the rat hole in with a plaster-like substance. This did not last long, and no, Public Works did not do it. Quote, neighbors gathered Friday afternoon using a brush and water to scrub the shallow hole in the sidewalk clean, restoring it to its ratful, not our words, their words, not our words, restoring it to its ratful place. We would never stoop so low. Restoring it to its ratful place among the city's iconic, if not strange, attractions, unquote. Moving on to something from desert.com. Iowa pastors denounce God-made Trump video. A, quote, parody of Paul Harvey's famous "So God Made a Farmer" speech, but changes the lines to "So God Gave Us Trump." A similar video about Florida Governor Ron DeSantis circulated in 2022. Unquote. Meanwhile, Trendy Digest on MSN.com reports more than 12,500 Christians are calling on Catholic bishops to retract their support for Trump through a national petition. On the opposite side of things, the Daily Beast brings a report of a Bible-bashing Ohio lawmaker suggests critics of her anti-trans bill should be drowned. The article states, quote, State Representative Joseph Miller, the ranking member of the House Higher Education Committee, asked her how she could jive her bill with the teachings that you proclaim. State Representative Beth Lair whipped out the reference to Luke 17:2 while answering. Now that passage talks about unaliving children for their own good by tying millstones around the... You know what? Never mind. Never mind. But that does segue nicely into our next segment, the war on education. From Newsweek, Moms for Liberty rail against protesters outside their own town hall. We're going to step back for a moment of levity after that heavy last moment. Shende20 says, the rat hole is famous. And I mean, how could a rat hole not be famous? My home bar of Miller's is famous. And it's a rat hole that's not shaped like a rat. That, Trevor, was a cheap shot at your home bar. Just like all the shots they serve. So, back to news. Crack me up. From Newsweek, Moms for Liberty rail against protesters outside their town hall. From the article, quote, Moms for Liberty co-founder Tiffany Justice said that she had challenged Randy Weingarten, the president of the American Federation of Teachers, to a debate about the real challenges facing public education. And Weingarten refused to debate, Justice said. Quote, instead, she organized rallies to protest the town hall we held here from New York City parents about the challenges facing their kids in public education, unquote. You know, given how trying to have a thoughtful conversation, let alone an informed debate with the lib loons has gone in the past. It isn't surprising that Weingarten declined. Now, if anybody couldn't tell, that was supposed to be sarcasm, but I'm really bad at sarcasm. But really, I can see why, she wouldn't want to debate Weingarten. Or why Weingarten wouldn't want to debate. I can understand why you wouldn't want to debate someone in whom you don't have the faith that they will engage in a good faith debate, Trevor said confusingly. What's in the script? Going back to the Miller's joke, Kat says, we need to check the blueprints to be sure. There are some odd shapes in there. And by odd shapes, she doesn't just mean me. Or the other regulars. Serious face. From isonline.com. Ryan Walters names libs of TikTok creator to Oklahoma Library Committee. Let's just refresh our memory by looking up libs of TikTok. Oh dear. Oh dear gods, why? Ew. Okay, there are several reasons why this is both scary and unfortunate. But unfortunately, it also makes sense for the underwhelming intendant Walters to do. Associate producer note: we are refusing to use the person's name. The initials from the headline will do. One of the most concerning things about this move is the number of threats to schools. Threats of incendiary variety? Yo. That LOTT has been linked to. I've heard of an inflammatory candidate, but that seems like a little overkill. Usually after LOTT has written about that school, and now Wonkers, rhymes with bonkers, thinks it is a good idea to link them to all the schools in Oklahoma. Glad we have a good fire department. Oh, wait, this is in Oklahoma. Hope they have a good fire department. This May 2023 article from the Oklahoman provides a reminder of an additional cause for concern. Superintendent Ryan Walters calls teacher unions terrorist organizations in Capitol hearing. Called to present information on federal grants to the State Budget Committee after being threatened to appear. Wonkers not only trash-talked the previous administration, reasoned that the teachers' unions asking for hazard pay to keep schools open during the height of the pandemic was the epitome of terrorism, but then outlined a plan to lure more teachers into working for him by using money. Kat says, he is not super. No, he is not. He is an underwhelming attendant, not a superintendent. He's not even an adequate attendant. Lockpick says, so he'd rather have mercenaries instead of terrorists? Which is a valid question. But I don't need to go through the would you rather moment on that one. Instead, let's move on to the segment that I know you all have been waiting for with bated breath. The one that keeps bringing them all back. Why, Florida, why? That segment that makes us take a look at Florida and Floridians around the nation, because you don't have to be you don't have to be living in Florida, have ever lived in Florida to be a Floridian in nature. In fact, I believe many of my extended family are Floridian in nature due to the fact that, hey y'all, check this out, is inscribed on so many of our family headstones. Famous last words for a Stewart. Here, I got this. And yet only a few of us live in Florida. Like a fungus, it grows on you. First up from the Miami Herald. Florida Republicans tried to waste taxpayer funds on Trump's legal bills. Grovel much? Quote, "This one is for the annals of Florida government history, while passing on federal funds to feed the state's hungry children. Florida Republicans tried to set up a fund with taxpayer money to help pay billionaire Donald Trump's legal bills." Who is, by the way, now paying $83 million or $8.3 million to the journalist he defamed, E. Jean Carroll. And my first thought when I heard that was, right on! My second thought was, that's not enough. I mean, seriously, 83 million for being touched by Trump? No. 8.3 million for being talked about by Trump? No. And moving along to something from the Daily News. Jacksonville. Not Florida, but North Carolina. The next Florida. The headline reads, "Not a cheerocracy. Jacksonville High cheerleaders facing punishment for cheering at away basketball game." Lockpick says, Florida light. Which would make Virginia craft beer Florida. Craft Florida. Small batch Florida. Oh, Kat, Florida's already here. Kat says, oh no, Florida is creeping up the coast towards Virginia. But no, Kat, Florida's already here. That's Greene County and Fluvanna County. And Louisa County. And a few others. I mean, and Schuyler. Yeah, I mean, we could go on. No, Florida's already in Virginia. I'm just saying. Florida has infected the world. There's Florida everywhere. Ew, I got some Florida on me. It's everywhere. Wow. I'm not sure how I feel about that joke. Lockpick says, deep down inside, aren't we all just a little bit Florida? And well, Lockpick, I gotta say, yes sir, you ain't wrong there. I mean, all of us got a secret redneck inside, just a little bit. But I try to keep mine in a cage. Cheerleaders attended an away game as spectators and were punished for supporting their team by yelling like spectators while in the stands. School officials are claiming that doing so went against the instructions, quote, that they were not permitted to perform on the court during the game, end quote. It is noted that the students involved were not wearing uniforms, were not on the court, were not dancing, were not using any school cheers, and were not trying to get the rest of the crowd involved. Give me an F! Give me a L! Give me an O! Right, this isn't actually Florida. Last of all, some glad tidings from Politico. And coming right back around, DeSantis detours back to Florida to tell legislators to stay the course. From the article, quote, "My message is simple, stay the course," DeSantis told legislators. "The state of our state is strong. Let's keep doing what works. Let's continue to make Florida the envy of the nation," unquote. Envy. We envy Florida like, well, we envy DeSantis's Florida, because we must remember there are two Floridas. We envy DeSantis's Florida. Well, as my Uncle Randy might say, like a dog envies a tick. A few days later, Reuters reports Ron DeSantis bows out of presidential campaign with fake Churchill quote. Quote, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis ended his presidential bid on Sunday when he announced on social media with his withdrawal with a quote falsely attributed to Winston Churchill. Cat points out that ew and envy both have 4 letters. And those are both 4-letter words that you can say here. Thank you for joining us, friends. This has brought us to the end of another episode of Saturday Evenings Posted Mostly Presents Weekly Broken News. I am, have been, and will be again, hopefully in the future, your host, Trevor Stewart. And as they say around here, 2 up, 2 down, VA, double deuces, I'm out, y'all. Don't forget to stick around for the raid. I don't know who we're raiding yet, but we'll raid someone. And Lockpick would like to leave us. Oh, Retro just went live, so we're gonna raid out to Retro. Lockpick would like to leave us with broken news is the best news. Stick around for the raid out to Retro. He has had a rough week, and he could use the love. All right, friends.